Okay, so today we're going to be using the short blocking counter in short range, and I'm going to be using not only the stick, but I'm also going to be using a pen and an umbrella to kind of translate into a more realistic scenario, if you will. But anyway, remember that the blocking counter, when we talk about short range, we're talking about the one in which I can elbow, and obviously the one in which I'm going to be using the batting or puño or the stick rather than the end of the stick. So in this case, if you remember, we had two choices. One, it was blocking with my forearm, and the other one was redirecting. And if you remember, there are some angles in which you would prefer one and the other one in which you would prefer the other one. So can you do both? Yeah, but as I mentioned before, there's some there's some angles in which it's going to be more difficult for you to execute a redirection without actually hurting yourself or without risking. And the same thing happens when you block. Sometimes blocking is actually going to be more dangerous. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go for all the angles, and I'm going to talk about the block and the counters. And then just remember that some of the blocks are very difficult. So the first one is going to be angle number one is coming this way. I block with my forearm. Okay, in this case, I'm going to block this way. Remember that before I said I prefer to redirect, but this is also a way to deal with it. So what I'm going to do is instead of coming this way, I'm going to go this if you want to secure and strike with the puño right away. So that's going to be your block, and this is going to be your counter. Now, obviously, since the person is so close, it might actually make more sense to go straight for this and strike directly to the face. Now, a little thing, remember that when you block, you want to open a little bit more towards the side. Therefore, these should be a one move. Okay, so block and counter right away. So it's actually happening in one beat rather than block and counter, although you could do block and counter. You could do with the stick and counter with batting. Okay, so try both. That's against number one. Against number two, you have the blocking, and remember that you have the pressure with the stick. So again, you strike, and in this case, you counter. That will be one way to do it. The other one would be you block and strike right away. So strike and strike. Block, and strike. So we have two ways of dealing with that. One, if you want to complete the block with stick and hand, and then counter with the stick, with the batting. The other one is if you want to go solo with the block, you can block and then strike with the puño right away. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3. Number 3, if you remember, is blocking with your hand. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure with the stick. So the same thing as before, we can do block in which you involve both hands and counter to the face, or you can block and go right away to the face as such. So again, block and strike. Number 4 is going to be the same, 2 options against the block. It could be blocking like this and striking, or I can actually block with the stick in hand and then strike right away. Try both. Number 5, if you remember, in this case, the difference between medium and short range is that I'm going to now push a little bit more farther away with the stick, striking to the side, and then using the hand. So that's going to be 1, and then you can go strike with the body. Okay. Now here we have another variation in which I'm going to do this and look at the difference. Once I push, I'm going to substitute and I'm going to check. You see that now the pass is from top, meaning I strike with the hand and I continue checking the stick with my hand, pushing more away and farther away, and then I can strike back. So again, the 2 solutions, 1 as you did before and strike, or 2 and strike. Okay, number 6 now is coming this way. Remember that is against this type of batting, same as before. I'm going to strike, I'm going to block this way, and I can strike right away, or I can strike, meaning block and strike at the same time, and strike with the puño. So again, 1 solution or 2. Okay, number 7, same thing, blocking right here, and then you can do the blocking with a stick in hand, striking like this and coming back with your counter to the face, or you can go right away blocking and striking, same as number 1. Okay, very similar. The only thing that changes is the angle. Remember, between 6 and 7, in this case between 7 and 1, is that the 1 is coming 45 degrees down, and 7 is going to come more towards the side, but the angle is the only thing that's going to change. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. Now we have 6 and 7, now 8, because it's going to go all the way through. Number 8, what am I going to do? In this case, when I'm defending this angle, I have to be careful of not using my hand and my stick at the same time, because again, we're in short range and I will be offering my stick. So what am I going to do? I'm going to palm and strike right away. So again, palm and strike right away. In this case, 8 and 9, we're just going to deal with one way. Okay, so block and strike right away. Same with 9. What I'm going to do is I'm going to block, strike, and block and strike right away. So again, 8 and 9 is just purely blocking with your hand, okay, and blocking with your hand and strike right away to the face. Okay, now 10 and 11. 10 coming this way, I'm going to block as I did before, and I strike, and the same as before, I strike back with the button, or I can go and block and strike right away. So again, one solution, second hand and strike, or blocking and striking right away. 11, I block, same as before 6 and 7. The only difference is now I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to block with the stick in hand and strike right away, or I can power up with the stick with the form, and I can strike to the face right away. Now number 12, if you remember, I favor the movement of evasive movement, but yes, technically, if this is coming this way, what I can do is just move it out of the way. Now be mindful that in this case, number 12 is going to go through with a puño. So that means that if I'm in this direction and you're coming at me in this direction, I only have this little move and my head movement to compensate with. So that's why it's so risky, and I didn't even pay attention to the blocking part in the blocking section in the blocking video in short range, because it's actually not very realistic. But again, for the sake of practicing the same block and counter by opposing, what I'm going to do is again blocking, moving out of the way, and doing it and striking right away. Similar to 13, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to block, but I'm going to move out of the way, kind of like in Wing Chun, okay, or in the Chinese boxing that we have. You probably, with Kajukenbo, you're familiar with kind of angling and letting the force happen to the side. So it will be the same thing, blocking and striking right away. Okay, so those are the block and the counters with the stick when you oppose. Okay, but what happened when you actually redirect? Very simple. We're going to start number 1. Remember, move out of the way, clear the hand, and look, you have now a space enough to strike the face right away. So again, the puño is coming towards your face, you move out of the way, and then you attack back. Very simple. For number 2, remember that you could technically go this way and get it out of the way, but it was again very, very dangerous. I would not recommend it, but for the sake of continuing the same, we could do this and open, and then from here striking with the puño. So again, blocking and then moving out of the way. The puño is coming this way, I block, I move out of the way, I clear that space, and I punch. So again, is it doable? It's very, very difficult. It requires a lot of reflex, and it's very risky anyway. So it doesn't make any sense. But again, as an exercise, it's good for you to know another option. Now, number 3, remember that we could technically parry to the other side, and now we're not going to involve this at all. Like, we're not going to continue with the stick. We're going to parry and then pass. Remember, it's push down into the side. Push down into the side, and at the same time striking to the face. So again, pass down into the side and to the face. Remember that when we say down into the side, it's actually down towards your attacker and to the side. We are not only talking about down into the side, because the person might actually continue. So to make it more efficient is a little bit down towards the opponent and to the side. Push that a little bit so it gets closer to the opponent than it gets to you. So again, down into the side and strike. Same from the other angle, but now I'm going to involve my forearm block, same as when you're defending a knife, although we will see that in the future. Block down into the side and strike with the puño. Okay, so again, number 4, redirect and strike. Now number 5, remember that number 5 is coming all the way through, power up. So how do we redirect? We redirect by clearing and moving out of the way and clearing with the stick. This is useful because it will push it out of the way. Now, if we take into account that the person is actually going to be that close that he or she can actually use the puño, we're assuming this distance. So again, this is going to be enough. Don't extend because there's no distance. It's just this out of the way. Now, when we check, we can go right away and strike. But look how our stick is. In this case, our stick is already on the side. So it's going to be difficult to do this. So how can we solve that? This, pushing out of the way, and if the head is here, go back. So again, 1, 2, go back. So that's going to be the only variation of number of countering, in which we're not going to counter with our butting, but we're going to counter with the end of the sticks. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. So that's number 5. Number 6 is coming this way. Now, we're going to redirect. Remember that now redirections on that side are going to be a little bit more complicated, as I said before, because even if I succeeded at doing that, the redirection is going to imply that there might be space for the other person to continue with the stick, meaning this, and imagine that my head is right there, okay? So, again, 1, redirecting and striking, same as number 2. Now, same as before. Could we redirect down? Yeah, but probably the other person is not going to be weak enough to allow that to happen. Probably is going to oppose. So that's why either the person retreats, meaning the moment that you block is going to move back, or is going to be moved just a tiny bit. So again, very risky. So number 6, we're going to redirect and we're going to punch, okay? For number 7, the number 7 is coming this way. How do I redirect? Same thing as before. Remember, in this case, I block and I clear right away. So again, block and clear out of the way. Now, can you do it like this? Yes, you could clear from here and striking right away. But why did we put the stick? Remember that after this, it's going to be easier for you to redirect. And this is also going to not allow the other person to extend the stick. So this is a way to control the stick. Now the difference is now I'm going to go all the way through. And look how I exaggerate. See, here it's coming this way. I move out of the way, and now this position allows me for a strike to the head. Now slow, 1, 2, look at the position, strike to the face. Okay, that's number 7. Now number 8, we have done 7 this way. Number 8. You're going to redirect the same as before, as 3 and 4. They're very similar. You're going to redirect a little bit lower, and then you're going to go strike to the face right away. So again, redirect and strike. Same as number 9. Number 9 is going to be palm down. Remember that the palm is, and your elbow check is close to your body, so it's not disengaged, so you have more force to compensate with, and go right away down into the side and strike with your puño. So again, 8, 9 here. So where are you going to strike from? It doesn't really matter. The important part is whatever it is that your stick is, that's where you're going to strike directly. Now, ideally, number 8 is going to go this way, and then you're going to strike. Number 9, if your stick is in this shoulder, you're going to move, and then you're going to strike. But what happens if this stick is in this shoulder? You're going to go down into the side, and then you're going to strike from the other shoulder, okay? So as long as you have a clear shot, that's fine. 10, same as before, it's very complicated to redirect. That's why we favor the striking. But again, you can block, move out of the way, and strike. Number 11, same as before, you can redirect from the outside. You can incorporate the stick to clear out of the way, and now clearing so far away. So now this is next to the other person's face, and then you can strike. Now for 12, remember that we have, you could do attempt to do that, but in this case it's so short that it really doesn't make any sense. So how are you going to deal with that? In this case, you're going to clear out of the way. So if this is coming this way and I'm going to redirect in this direction, what I can do is I can move out of the way, I can incorporate my hand to protect, and then I can continue redirecting. So I can do this and strike with my puño. This again is going to be very difficult to pull off because look at how little angle do I have. If I'm the one striking, I'm striking down. There's no way you're gonna get quick enough and with force enough. Plus, it's going to aim to your nose, so you would have to even go lower. So since that's not going to be a realistic solution, we're gonna incorporate a block, but leading that towards the side. That could be an option. The other one would be this clearing out of the way, literally using the other hand, the hand of the stick, clearing, and then the counter is going to come from whatever it is that you finish. So that's a 12. Number 13 is very simple because it's going to be like number 1, you clear out of the way and then you strike. Again, you clear out of the way and then you strike. Now, we're going to see now that we have gone through all of it, very different ways in which we can approach this, okay? We can use the umbrella, we can use even a pen. So with the umbrella, it's going to be very simple. I'm going to just give you a couple of options, okay? So imagine, and this can also translate into empty hands. So remember that I prefer to hit with the strongest part. In this case, it's going to be the base, and it's not going to be the end. The plastic part probably is not going to be as strong. This is a little bit more solid. So you can block and then you can strike right away to the face. You can block and strike right away. You can even pass when you're redirecting instead. You can redirect and strike. You can redirect and strike. Those are the same movements that you just learned with the stick, but now you can practice with the umbrella. Now things get interesting once you incorporate a pen, and again I'm going to incorporate, the next video is going to be all about the pen, so keep watching the next video because it's going to be more interesting. But as of right now, imagine how painful that might be if instead of just striking, you can actually dig deeper with the pen. So again, blocking and countering with the pen, or blocking and countering with the pen, or redirecting and striking with the pen, or redirecting and striking with the pen. Again, the pen will add an interesting point of view, because obviously we're not talking about only a solid thing. Some of them are metallic, and like in this case, this one, but also you have a point that actually can go a little bit deeper. Obviously you have to be very careful, and this also because you are improvised weapon, so obviously you're not supposed to use it unless that is strictly necessary for self-defense purposes. But again, the idea is that you can also incorporate the same moves with the pen or an umbrella. So as usual, I hope that you enjoy, practice as many times as possible. This ends with the blocking the counters, and then we will see in the future another video about block and counter and how to close the distance and how to do a proper block and counter once you're moving or the other person is moving, okay? But as of right now, okay, keep safe and keep practicing, and I see you in the next video in which I will deal with the pen, okay? Whoosh.